Hello, Monarchs. Welcome to the first video for lesson 5.4, day 2, quick graphs using int slope intercept. So yesterday we did the same thing. Remember, we're talking about this word right here, slope intercept form, and that is y equals mx plus b. Okay, slope intercept form is y equals mx plus b, where m is our slope. Okay, m equals slope, and b is our y-intercept. Okay, so b equals y-intercept. Okay, so slope intercept form is y equals mx plus b, where m is your slope and b is your y-intercept. Okay, so these are going to be exactly the same as what we were working on yesterday. Okay, but the only major difference is we will have to complete step 1. So this is the major difference for today is step 1, which is putting y equals mx plus b. So we have to put it in y equals mx plus b. We have to make sure y is by itself, okay? So we have to solve for y. We have to get y by itself, okay? We're just getting y by itself on one side of the equal sign, okay? After we do that, you guys should be familiar with the next steps. We would plot the y-intercept. We would use the slope, whether it was positive or negative. We would use the slope to find another point, and then we will draw the line. So the only major difference with today is our equations are not in y equals mx plus b. They're not in slope intercept form. So we have to manipulate them in a way that would make them into y equals mx plus b or slope intercept form. Okay. So the first equation that we'll be working with is this equation right here. We have 3x plus 2y equals 6. That's going to be our parent equation. Okay. We have 3x plus 2y equals 6. But before I can start labeling, before I know what my y-intercept is, before I know what my m is, I have to put it in y equals mx plus b form. Okay, right now it is not in y equals mx plus b form. Right now my y is not by itself. Right, there's a 2 attached to it, and there's a 3x on the same side as it. So it is not in y equals mx plus b form. So we have to put it in y equals mx plus b form. Okay, so we're going to do that by solving this equation to get y by itself. Okay, so I'm just going to move this over here, right here. Okay, I just wrote it right next to it so I had a little bit more room to work. Okay, and then I'm just going to solve this for y like I would solve every other equation that we've solved. Okay, so the first thing that I want to move is what is not attached to my y. So this 2 is attached to my y, so I don't want to move that yet. I want to move this 3x because it's not attached to my y. And I know that it's a positive 3x, so I need to do the opposite to move it. And the opposite of a positive 3x would be a negative 3x. So I'm going to subtract 3x on both sides of my equal sign. Okay. Now I want you guys to look because as you can see, I did not line up my minus 3x underneath my 6, and that I wrote it to the side. And I did that because we cannot combine 6 and negative 3x, right? If this 6 had an x with it, we could, but since this 3, or since this negative 3 has an x and this 6 doesn't, we cannot combine them. We can only combine numbers that share the same variable, okay? So 3x minus 3x is 0, so those two cancel out. So I'm left with 2y equals, okay, and now I have negative 3x plus 6. Okay, it's negative 3x because I subtracted 3x from both sides, and it's plus 6 because this is a positive 6. If it was a negative 6, it'd have a negative out front, but since it doesn't, it's a positive 6. So I have 2y equals negative 3x plus 6. But I'm not done yet, and that's because this 2 is still attached to my y. Okay, my y is not by itself. This 2 is still attached to it, so I need to figure out how to move that 2. And I know that anytime a number is attached to a variable, it's multiplying the variable. So to move it, I need to do the opposite, and the opposite of multiplication is division. So I'm going to divide both sides by 2. Okay, so I divide by 2. And I divide by 2. Make sure when we're doing this, we divide everything by 2. Okay, that means I'm dividing this negative 3x by 2, and I'm dividing this 6 by 2. Okay, so 2 divided by 2 cancels out. I'm just left with y equals, we just leave this as it is. This becomes our m. It's negative 3 over 2x. Okay, and then 6 divided by 2 would be plus 3. Okay, so now our equation is in y equals mx plus b form, right? It's in y equals mx plus b form. Our y is by itself. So now we can use it to do the rest of the points on our list, and I will do that in the next video. So stay tuned. Stay tuned for the next video for this lesson. Okay, thank you guys.